Hey, it's Tpok, and I'm playing Katawa Shoujo again. I'm thinking for this special day, this 10/11/12, October 11th, 2012. I was thinking of originally I was planning on doing 12 10-minute, 11-second long videos, but I don't have that much time. So, probably just do, let's say like 30 minutes. Yeah, 30-minute special for 10, 11, 12. And, yeah, I think that'll be good. I'll probably go over 30 minutes. But, oh well. Okay, so, here's my towel. Still looks extremely hungover. Try to look normal, but behind the superficial. There's not a single student here who isn't just a normal kid behind whatever they might seem at first glance. He says the same thing as Yuko did. I know they're right, but it's hard. How can you not consider, for example, Shizune's deaf? I think it's Shizune, or Shizune? I don't know, I read somewhere that you pronounce the E, so Shizune. Shizune's deafness. When the only way to communicate with her is to talk through Misha. Or Hanako. Or Hanako. It's not like you can ignore her face. But I'm interrupted by the door of the classroom suddenly slamming open. Misha. Of course. Teacher. Misha crashes in, hands straight in an enthusiastic greeting. Her voice loud and lively enough to wake the dead from their graves. She starts towards the teacher's desk with her bouncing step, hands energetically swinging with the rhythm. Something's knocking. What is that? No, it's gone. No, it's back. I don't know. Mutao, visibly dismayed at the interruption and Misha in general, slumps in his chair. Mikado. Misha stops in her tracks and looks around cluelessly, as if she's sensing from his tone that something's wrong, but has no idea what. It's that you're too loud and annoying, that's what. That quizzical look. Yes? We've talked about volume control before. Yes. But she doesn't lower her voice at all, and the teacher just rubs his eyes. So what is it? We need help. We are running out of supplies for the festival stands. This is a distress. She waves a pink slip of paper she's holding around. So go get more supplies from the art room. What's the problem with that? Plywood. Plywood is always the problem. Last time we wanted more, there was only a little, but that time we just took it all and went with that. Now there's like none left there, so do you know where there is some? I don't understand. How would I know? Shi-chan, I mean the president, threw that a teacher would know if there's plywood. I mean the president thought that a teacher would know if there's plywood. Was she wrong? Mutao looks like he's in great pain, frowning with his entire essence, and Misha doesn't get it at all. He wants you to just go away. Looking at the two of them communicate is terrible, like looking at a man being tortured by drilling his skull open, while blasting pop music at full volume at the same time. That's quite the analogy. I'm afraid I have no idea if there's any plywood in the school, let alone where it would be if there was any. Oh, what should I do? Perhaps try to find Mr. Nomiya? I'm quite sure he would know where to find everything you need. You'd have to pry them from his cold dead hands, but that's a different matter. I don't have time, we're so busy. He holds her head with both her hands. Oh, she holds her head with both her hands, looking as despairing as is possible for a person like her. Without even noticing, she crumples the note she's holding against her hair. I shouldn't even be fetching these things, there's so much to do and we are falling behind the schedule. Mutao looks at her gravely and then suddenly smiles. Smiling doesn't really fit his face. I think it'd be better if he didn't. Is that a smile? I guess. I wonder if you could get some temporary help. He switches to staring at me focusedly with a hard expression as if trying to say, go make some friends. But why, Misha? Why? I guess I can give you a hand. You can? Thanks, Hichan. You are really nice. She pauses, does a double take, and then points at me with her finger, yelping, ah, and looking very puzzled. Come to think of it, what's Hichan doing here? Class is over, and you should be having fun. We just had a little chat. Oh no, it's not detention, is it? Are you in trouble, Hichan? No, I'm not. Is Hichan in trouble? I just told you. I'm not. No, he's not. Listen the first time. Mutao sighs deeply, and I feel that I have to help Misha to get her off the teacher's back. So what do you need? Plywood. Oh, here's a list. I can try to find the plywood from somewhere if there's none left in the art room. She offers me the note she's holding. I take it, hesitating a bit. This seems loud. Is it loud? I'm gonna just turn it down a bit. Sure. 2 hours, 50 minutes, okay. I said I'd help you, but this has no implications on whether I'm joining the council or not. Depressed. Aw. Still, thanks, Hichan. Try to be quick. We are in a stall building streak now. We must hurry, hurry, hurry. She bounces out of the classroom, leaving me and the teacher looking at each other with something that feels like a silent agreement. Well, there you have it, Nakai. You have something to do now. I hit the button. Well, there you have it, Nakai. You have something to do now. Please don't sound so smug. Looking at the list with a number of items ranging from paint to plywood, all written with small, neat handwriting, is undoubtedly Shizune's. I heave a sigh. I'll be going then. Waving the long list limply at the teacher, I exit the hallway. The classroom's closest is that creepy thing. I saw on their website that it's called a wizard. I can see that. If you've played the game Don't Die Dateless, excuse me, that makes perfect sense. The classrooms closest to ours are designated belonging to classes 3-1 and 3-2 on the right side, and 3-4 on the left side, each door looking exactly the same. Further down the corridor, still with identical doors, are rooms that I didn't think were used for classes. I guess the art room is not a classroom as such. I carefully push open the furthest door and peek in. It's a classroom, but it seems rather badly kept or not in use. Am I in the right place? Desks and chairs are all around the room. A thin layer of dust settled on them. There are some easels in the corner, so at least this looks like the right place. The room is flushed in sunlight from the big windows, shadows creeping all over the desks. Specks of dust are dancing in the stagnant air, making the beams of light almost visible. Jokingly, I call into the empty room. Anybody home? Something catches my eye, and I stop mid-sentence. Hello? Is that? Oh, that's her foot. Okay. She has no arms, so she's... Okay, I get it. Sitting on a desk is a short-haired girl, curiously wearing a boy's uniform with a fork between her toes, a morsel of food stuck firmly on the end. This odd way of dining seems to be called by her apparent lack of hands, but her presence here is what takes me aback even more. How did I miss her before? She's sitting in a corner very still, but I still somehow took her as part of the furnishing or a statue at first glance. I'm not being too observant today as a whole. The girl seems to be frozen in place, staring at me with her huge eyes like rabbit in headlights. It's a deer in headlights, isn't it? Oh well. She's staring at me, her mouth wide open, ready to accept the fork. I'm staring at her, my mouth wide open, suddenly remembering I didn't finish my sentence, and trying to think if I should. This weird stalemate keeps us both stunned into silence, punctuated only by the wall clock ticking rhythmically. Hello? The girl stuffs the forkful into her mouth and is now staring at me expectantly while chewing. This is a bit awkward. Hello, I was told to pick up some supplies from here for some festival stalls, I think. I didn't think there would be someone here. There isn't. That's why I came here too. She picks up another forkful. Doesn't that mean you're here then? Oh, okay. She raises her eyebrows as if she was suspecting my observation was false. You're pretty observant, I guess it does, but who are you? This girl was pretty straightforward, isn't she? I'm Nakai, Hisao Nakai. Bond, James Bond. I just transferred in on Monday. I'm Rin, Tezuka Rin. Rin Tezuka. Wait. Okay. Which is her first name? Tezuka? Or no, Rin. Okay, I won't shake hands with you, but at least we know who we are now. I get it. That's very nice. Wait. That's very nice. I don't get that. That's very nice. Oh, her deadpan manner of talking makes it hard to determine whether she's joking about shaking hands or not. It kinda bothers me. Joking about these matters doesn't feel appropriate at all. While I'm trying to figure out what's appropriate and whether this girl is, she seems to have lost interest in me and is now gazing yearningly back at her food. Can I continue my lunch? If you don't mind me, I won't mind you. If you need to get your stuff, the supplies are at the back. Go right ahead, but lunch? School's already over for the day. What word would you use then? There's no word for the meal you have to eat after lunch, but before dinner, right? Bothers me very much too, but I don't really know what I should say. I don't think you are supposed to eat a meal between lunch and dinner to begin with. But I'm hungry now, and my delicious box lunch would go to waste otherwise. I have curry. It's very delicious. What kind of curry? There's like millions. With much decisiveness, Rin once again picks up the fork between her toes, and with at least as much impoliteness, she points it straight at me. So Nakai, what brings you to the place? Like I said, I was told to look for these things. No, the school. From the outside, you look fine. Is your problem inside? I come to a full stop, opening my mouth but not getting a word out. So did the music. That stopped as well. I can guess. I'm good at guessing, better than most people. Rin cuts me off before I can answer a question, or skirt around it somehow. I don't know which I would have done. I froze in front of this issue again. I haven't even told anyone here about my condition, or maybe it's only because it hasn't really come up. I do get the feeling that not making issues of this is part of the social code here, as the teacher said. I wonder if the people here could relate. Probably not any better than a normal person could. I can't relate to Shizuni's circumstances, or Lily's either. Naturally, while I go through this in my head, Rin keeps considering what my condition could be, with an overtly contemplative look on her face. She puts her fork between her lips and leans back, looking at the ceiling as if the answer was written up there. A beam of light illuminates her face from the window side, creating a mask of dark shadow on the other side. I don't think it's anything in your head, and something in your guts would be boringly ordinary like this lunch of mine, and less delicious. The problem must be in your pants. This messed up Sherlock Holmes kind of statement, and the sheer lack of tact it was delivered with, catches me completely off guard. I think I might have reeled back, even physically, as Rin's eyes widened in revelation and astonishment. So I was right. There's something wrong with your tackle, isn't there? I was not aware of that being a phrase, but okay. Still partially in shock, but recognizing the need to reply something, I spit out the first thing I can think of. No, nothing like that. I have a heart problem. Arrhythmia. Dots. I said it. More like blurted it out, but I said it. Be proud. You said it. The girl in front of me purses her lips together and glowers at me, looking very disappointed. How boring. Tremble in the pants would have been much more scandalous. Okay then. What's with this reaction? I'm sorry to let you down. I forgive you. I forgive you. Just I collect people, and a person with, that kind of problem would have been really great. What? Collect people? People with different problems. Huh, so you just, go around asking people what's wrong with them? Pretty much. I see. That was awkward. With little left to say, Rin resumes her lunch, and the conversation dies away, but I keep thinking about what was said. It's the first time I told anyone else about my condition. All the other people have either known about it already or heard about it from someone else. Or didn't need to know about it like every other student here so far. Should I have told it as a natural part of introductions? Is it expected of me? Hi, I'm Hisao. I have a very serious heart condition. Is that how I'm supposed to go around introducing myself from now on? As if our disabilities would define us? What a disgusting thought. Or maybe this Tezuka girl just has an unnatural interest in such things. As I walk to the back of the room to pick up the items on Misha's list, a chance opens to study Rin from the corner of my eye. Her hair is a burnt auburn, almost orange. Yeah, I would have said more red. And cropped short, long hair would probably be impossible with no arms. The boy's uniform and the lack of arms makes her body look very thin, almost scrawny. She's not particularly pretty except for her murky green eyes, which flicker restlessly from below her short bangs even when she eats. The distance and the shadows make it seem like they don't reflect sunlight at all, but instead absorb all of it within them like deep wells. She moves her feet almost deftly as a normal person would use their arms. However, I can see how this sight could discomfort people, especially while eating. It makes me feel a bit uncomfortable at least. I hesitate to think about the word unnatural, but it's too late now, isn't it? I keep searching the cabins and shelves for Misha's things, but after enough time passes, the silence grows too uncomfortable, so I try to force some conversation out of this strange girl. So do you always eat alone and this late, or do you get the occasional visitor? Visitors, maybe you are my first occasional visitor, but I don't always eat alone either. Sometimes I eat with a certain person on the roof, if she's not horsing around. Horsing? She likes to do sports. Who do I know that does sports? Emmy, the one with the pigtails. That was super tiny. Oh. And that's all I can think of to say. Both of us fall silent again as Rin forks the last bits of her meal into her mouth. I look down at my haul and double check it with Misha's list. It seems I have everything except plywood. So I think I have all the things except plywood. That's very nice for you. Don't feel obligated to stay. No, don't feel obliged to stay. I was about to take a nap anyway. You need to do whatever you're going to do with that stuff anyway, right? Or perhaps you like to watch girls sleeping. Yeah, I'm not sure what to make of this, but Rin looks serious. Even if I did, I think I'd have to be going. I'll catch you around, Tezuka. You can call me Rin. I feel that our relationship is at this point good enough to warrant this much. I was already turning to make my exit, but she draws me back in. Fine, then I'm Hisao. Then you are. What's that look? It's like completely disappointed. Rin looks at me hard in the eyes, but that intimidating feeling you get when someone stares at you isn't there. It's like she's actually not looking at me at all. She blinks a couple of times and I can't figure out why a pause like this just popped between us out of nowhere. See you later, Hisao. There's something like a tiny smile in her face, maybe. I quietly back out of the room. As I shut the door in front of my face, I whisper to myself, what an intriguing person. From inside, I hear a muffled sing-song voice. I heard that... Are you kidding me? What did she hear? I jump at the sudden appearance of Misha, who I had not heard approaching despite the completely empty hallway. That is odd, because she's like a rhino, or that's what she was previously compared to. Somehow she got into jumping distance of me without making a sound. Creepy. It briefly reminds me of Kenji's nutty theory about a global feminist conspiracy, but I push that thought aside. Shizune, standing slightly behind Misha, looks aloof, as she couldn't have heard the remark that drew Misha's attention, but Misha is visibly excited. No, wait, more importantly, who's in there? There's no club meetings today. She tries to curiously peek past me, even though the door prevents her from seeing anyway. What are you doing here? You took so long, we had to come check what's wrong. That's no good, Hichan. She wags her finger at me scoldingly. I found plywood, but everything else is still missing because you are tardy. Oh, sorry, I got the things right here. I was just going to bring them. I think you were up to some mischief, Hichan. Who was in there with you, I wonder? Misha signs something quickly to Shizune, pointing at her own ear a couple of times. Oh, she's saying she heard someone in there. Uh-oh. Shizune immediately pushes her way past me and opens the door into the classroom I just left. I can only imagine the shock she's experiencing. With Shizune's diligence and attitude, the insolence of daring to deface school property by sleeping on top of it must be too much to bear. And indeed, she stares at Rin, frozen in place, apart from the slight but noticeable trembling of her shoulders. From suppressed rage, I'm sure. Instead of blowing up, Shizune just takes a few deep breaths, adjusts her glasses, and slams the door shut, turning to sign furiously at Misha. Oh jeez. I didn't do it. She's just in there. Don't be mad at me. Maybe she did blow up, but I can't understand it. She shoots a very loaded stare at me too, as if it was somehow my fault that Rin is sleeping on one of the tables. I hope she's not getting any funny ideas about the reason of my tardiness. Hello. Rin's voice comes from the other side of the door, and it takes a few eye blinks to realize she might have trouble opening it. I open the door to find Rin directly behind it, looking at us with a half-interested, half-sleepy face. Hello. Dots. Miss Tezuka, what do you think you were doing? You absolutely are not permitted to use school property for such a disgraceful activity. It sure is suddenly very crowded in here. I didn't know I was this popular. It's hard to say whether she's happy or unhappy about this turn of events. At any rate, she ignores Shizune/Misha's scolding, so they have no choice but to drop the issue. Shizune taps me. That's gonna happen. I keep wanting to say Shizune. Taps Misha's shoulder, points at Rin, and makes some quick signs. Popularity aside, please don't do that anymore. Anyway, how's your project going? Will it be done for the festival? Rin looks at them blankly, apparently at ease under the pressure of Shizune's cold stare is putting on her. I keep wondering about that myself too. Dots. And we'll think about it harder. As Misha signs a reply to Shizune, her face turns into an unsatisfied frown. Miss Tezuka, could you please try to take this seriously? It'll be a disaster if the wall looks like someone threw up their lunch onto it. Rin nods assertively. We'll think more seriously. Misha actually giggles at that, but Shizune doesn't, not even after that translation. She just shakes her head, takes the materials from me, and takes off with Misha in tow. Rin frowns thoughtfully as she looks at the retreating student council duo. How rude. It's true though, I must finish my project before the weekend. There will be dire consequences if I don't. The end of the world as we know it. Like weekends usually are, but more dire. Much more dire. Maybe I'll postpone my nap to unforeseen future. I'm about to ask what project she has and what are these apocalyptic consequences, but she walks back into the art classroom. Since you have nothing to do, would you give me a hand? Ha! I get it. This paint doesn't fit into my bag, but I need it. She kicks slightly at a huge can of paint that's lying on the floor next to the table she was sitting and sleeping on. It lets out a dull clang. Being the gentleman I am, I naturally pick it up. Heavy. Yeah, sure. Where do you need to take it? Away. Okay, then. And with that, she takes off to the hallway, me and the paint can following since there's little choice for either of us. The hallway is quiet and empty now, with Shizune and Misha gone. So we too leave towards the stairwell at the other end. Every 10 or 15 or 20 steps I have to change the can from one hand to the other because the thin handle cuts into... I hate that. Thin handle cuts into my palm. I like the ones that have the bend in it, like where it's like not just a half circle, but it's got a bend in it, and then it's got the rounded handle, so you can actually hold it easier. Best kind of paint can. At least it keeps my arms from tiring too fast. Excuse me. Rin strolls on beside me with an uneven pace that I have trouble matching, or maybe I'm walking weird because of the extra weight. It seems one of us is constantly walking too slow or too fast, and I can't figure out which. 2 flights of stairs below, trouble appears in the form of the head nurse. Oh no, and his fox-like grin. Ah, Mr. Nakai, what a happy coincidence. Tezuka-ku. Tezuka too, of course. He nods curiously to Rin, who does not acknowledge him back, but then turns to me because obviously it's me he had some business. I'm gonna pause. 3:09. How? Been going like 25 minutes? Okay. Current music track. A-E-I-A-I-O-U. Is that A-E-I-O-U? Or I-E-I-O-U? I don't know how to say that. I'm just gonna save. 244. And what am I at right now? 310? 5 more minutes? Okay. He nods curiously to Rin, who does not acknowledge him back, then turns to me because obviously it's me who he had some business with. There's something I forgot to mention on Monday. Oh yeah, I got that right. I nodded, waiting passively because I can't even begin to guess what he forgot. The feeling of the handle delving deeper into my skin doesn't make me feel enthusiastic about this interruption either. It's about your medications. Since you haven't been that long on your current medications, there might be some unexpected side effects, which might require adjusting dosages or even changing to another kind of medication. So we will do a few tests regularly, but what I want for you to do is keep an eye on everything in your condition that feels off, if you get what I mean. Nausea, headache, anything, and come see me if something happens. Alright. So how are you? Everything fine? I give up and drop the can to the floor before answering him. Apparently this takes longer than my biceps can handle. I was about to say something generic as an answer, but then I realized how often I've done that lately. Other people have asked me that too, teachers and students here, my parents, visitors, nurses, doctors at the hospital. Everyone seems to be concerned about that. It's natural for a hospital, not so much for a school. Except this school. This is a small school, and both the student base and the faculty seem to be very tightly knit. At least that's the feeling I'm getting. And this is not the kind of school that gets transfer students too often. The thought sends shivers up my spine, but I give a generic answer anyway. What? Okay, that's great. You can see her eyes move. Rin's eyes are moving. That's great. Also, one other thing. My sources tell me that you've been neither at the school track nor even the pool, so I'd like to know if you've taken up exercising as I asked. Of course I haven't, but this way of inquiring gives me the feeling that I should have been running my ass off on the track since the very first day. Isn't it my third day? You have people spying on me? Not as such. I just happen to know a few people. But that's not the issue here, so don't try to slip out of it. Well, I was actually just doing some improvised weightlifting as an exercise. I pick up and lift the can up and down a few times like some sad imitation of a bodybuilder, even though it's weighing down on my arms painfully. The stupid grin disappears from his face for a second and then comes back like he was never gone. Tezuka, would you give us a second? Oh no. What? The nurse grabs me by the shoulder without waiting for Rin's permission, which he didn't need in the first place, and drags me aside. Oh no. When I told you to do exercise, I wasn't joking. I understand that you are still on your first week and all, but please don't ignore the importance of this. The reason I'm coming down this hard on you, that is a very awkward way to word that, is that habits are not easy to form. The more you slip and postpone, the harder it'll be. It's the same with everything, like dieting. Can you promise me to be more serious? Yeah, sure. Yes. Yeah, I promise, definitely. He studies me for a moment, then shrugs, smiling again. Okay, that's more like it. If you go to the school track tomorrow morning, you'll meet my spy, who probably has no qualms offering consultation to you if you want to jog a bit. Consultation? See you around. Hey, Rin. He leaves with a wave of his hand and no answer, and I walk to Rin, who has been waiting, idly leaning against the hallway wall and staring at the pale lighting fixtures in the ceiling. Even when I approach, she doesn't move her eyes off them. Are you getting medications for your heart thingy? Were you listening? It comes out more accusatory than I intended, accidentally lashing out on her. But even so, I don't really want to start talking about it. I just met her. I don't know her. It's not her business. The nurse seems to be happily ignorant about confidentiality too, talking about that kind of thing in public. But it's not Rin's fault, is it? I look up at her, suddenly feeling a bit guilty, but Rin is just staring past my shoulder quizzically, her head tilted like a bird's. Sigh. I don't know why this is so hard for me. It feels like there's some inexplicable lock that prevents me from being more upfront about this. Well, I think I'm gonna end it here. And saving again. Waylay. Yes. Oh, is that Rin? I think so. I think that's Rin. No idea what's in her mouth. Yeah. I'm done. For the 10, 11, 12 special. Thanks for watching.